Alrighty. Good morning, guys. How we doing? So, what are we doing? We're getting that little slippage this morning. We're getting a little bit of slippage this morning. So we're coming right back down towards the channel low that we were talking about yesterday. So we're still in that channel, but we are definitely testing the bottom of it today. So it's gonna get a little interesting, I think. Might be some easy downside to play if this thing really starts to unravel. We did have some pretty good earnings from Apple last night, but I don't think that's, I don't know. It doesn't look like the market cares much. That might have just been another nice little pump to sell into. Unfortunate, because I was pretty happy to see Apple moving higher yesterday, of course. But this morning looks like the overall market's just bringing it down. So good earnings, that's a good takeaway. I mean, the company's doing well, so I'm not going to be concerned about my shares on that. But of course, the market's going to make it slip here just a little bit. So we are down 1% on the Dow. We're down about 0.8 on the Nasdaq, down about 0.9 on the ES. Yeah, I mean, we could definitely see a little bit of red pre-market to maybe some kind of support intraday. That's always possible. But just a really tough market environment. Just really tough. Hold on, sorry guys. Just a really tough environment for upside. Everything's sort of getting sold into, which is sort of the theme and what we need to understand. Like yesterday, I really wasn't looking for any downside or any upside plays. It was more about focusing on what bounces were fake and what bounces can I sell into. And I think everyone's doing that, and it's causing that bearish bias. So we got to stay on the right side of the trend. If you want to stay on the right side of the trend, I would say the downside still looks pretty healthy. So we'll go over everything in today's video. Futures, earnings. We have a few earnings this morning. We had CVX, Chevron, and Caterpillar. Not that interested in those. But last night we had Visa, Robinhood, and Apple. So we'll take a look at those. And then on the economic calendar, I think we have anything today? Let's see. So economic calendar today. Okay, yeah, we have some inflation readings this morning. Go ahead and pull that up. M1, yeah, M1's awesome. Love M1. So we got quite a bit here this morning on the economic calendar. Inflation month-to-month change. That's going to be important. 830 here. Year-over-year change. Real consumer spending, personal income, consumer spending, employee cost index. So a lot of information on jobs and sort of job growth, how jobs are performing, how consumers are performing and reacting. So this is going to be sort of important. Let's see at 8:30 if we get any reaction on the market. So that's that. That's the economic calendar. What I think about Apple today, it's going to depend on the Nasdaq. It's going to depend on how the overall market wants to perform today. Of course, I want to see the Nasdaq. We'll look at some levels on the NQ here. We'll talk about it in a second. So futures, we went over the economic calendar. Earnings. Here's the earnings calendars, guys. We don't have much left this week. I will pull it up for you. What's going on here? There we go. So yesterday, as you guys know, we had Apple, Robinhood, Visa. Those are big. We'll take a look. Today, Chevron, Cat are the only two that I really care about. Chevron and Cat. That's all we really have. And Friday, as you guys may know, it's always in the morning, right? So you always have it in the morning. So not much there on that side, but a lot on the economic calendar. Apple earnings, Visa Affirm partnership, that was announced on their earnings yesterday. Affirm got a little bit of a push higher off that. I would be careful thinking that has much more upside in this market condition. Facebook 300 rejection, watching that today. Tesla 750 target. I'll show you guys why I think Tesla could drop to 750. It has the 200 SMA support around the 800s, but I'll show you guys why 750 is interesting. No man's land for Amazon. Amazon it's dropped into a very scary area. There's no volume in the area that it's sitting in. The volume profile is just a huge void in volume right where it's sitting. So this, if this market actually really starts to unravel here a little bit more, maybe if we get another leg lower, audio's cutting in and out. It looks okay on my side. Let me know, guys. If audio is bad, let me know. Amazon's in a tough spot. PayPal still has that gap filled down below that I'm watching. If we start to unravel here again, Qualcomm, I'll show you guys a really interesting rejection that came in yesterday on Qualcomm. As you guys may know, I've been trying to target this thing to the downside, but just hasn't really started to work out. Maybe we're starting to get that here. I'm going to keep an eye on Qualcomm. And then AMD, guys, wow. I mean, that's crazy. AMD down to $100 a share today. What a drop that had. As you guys saw yesterday, just to give you a little bit of insight on what I was watching, NVIDIA was so weak yesterday compared to other tech names, and it looks like AMD was the same. So just a lot of weakness on the chips yesterday. I was watching NVIDIA and Tesla side by side yesterday, and there would be moments where Tesla would hold up with the Nasdaq and NVIDIA would just keep falling. So NVIDIA was a very, very weak performer yesterday, and we'll go ahead and take a look at that with AMD. An interesting spot, guys. I mean, this market still is not comfortable. That's clear. Market's still not comfortable. Market is still in a downtrend, still looking for downside. And we have a very big key level today, and it just so happens to be Friday. So I think it's going to be an interesting day. So let's go ahead and get started here. Might be some easy downside. I'm definitely interested in seeing if I see any morning rejections and being able to play some puts today if I see anything easy. Yesterday, I took 2 trades. I traded Microsoft and I traded Netflix. Netflix was a loser. Took about a $90 loss on that, and then Microsoft I made like 180 or 190. After that, guys, I even wrote it in here on the we have the trading journal. On the Discord where like everyone writes their day, how they did, what they did right, what they did wrong, just to sort of learn from. I just didn't see things as clear as I liked yesterday. I was talking about it on the chat with the guys and girls on the Discord. Felt myself a little out of line, just wasn't there fully mentally. I don't know, I had to do something yesterday around 11 o'clock. I had to take my parents to the airport. So I kept watching the clock. It just didn't feel right for me. So after those 2 trades, I just got out of there because I felt myself approaching a very ugly day. I don't know. I just didn't feel good yesterday. Didn't want to push it. So that was it. I think I made like $40 or something. Nothing crazy. Happy to walk away without a big red day because I just wasn't really feeling it. So that was my day yesterday. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens today. Hopefully, can catch something nice. So here we go. Here's Nasdaq. As you guys know, we were watching this channel, and this channel is starting to look a little ugly now, right? This is not really what you want to see. Now, why do I say that, right? Because this is making lower highs. The lower highs are what concerns me. The lower highs on this market, you have a high here, lower high, and lower high. That makes me believe that we are going to see some weakness here under this low. If we get a pretty weak drop under this low, this could get a little interesting. Now, a pre-market red, a red pre-market, I never want to count out the opportunity of a bounce here at the channel low, right? I never want to count out a bounce here of the channel low. So I'm not going to just buy puts it open, but I will definitely see, what's the market doing here as we approach this channel low. This definitely looks bearish. This is definitely lower highs. And if we crack this support with some volume today, that does not look good. I have to say, guys, that does not look good. Where could be the next spot that we move lower to. If we drop below that channel low, which is right around the highs of these previous candles, it's right around the same level, right? You guys see that? You made some money on Baba? Nice, David. Yeah, I closed the Baba put yesterday as well. That was nice. That helped out a little bit. If we drop below that channel low, I got to assume, let's see what the where's the 200 on the daily? We're well below that. What about the weekly? I'm trying to, there's really not that clean of an area. Let me go further out here. I mean, it's pretty messy in this area. Maybe this like 13.7 right here, 13.7, 13.715. But I mean, there's really nothing really structured until, say, 13.3. Maybe these lows here, 13,000. There's really not much in this area. It's just sort of, there's no like perfect previous lows or previous highs. You really need to see. Yeah, I mean, 12.8 would be, the clean area. Yeah, right. Like, these are the clean spots that I would, the clear and obvious one would be 12.8, right? Right here. This previous low, and where we started to move higher. That would be, the obvious one right here. Trying to see if there's anything small in between that, but it's really not that clear. Anything small in between that. So, definitely, if we do not hold here, where you can see this 13.8 right around this area, previous high into support. If that breaks down, I mean, you probably have 13.2, 12.8, not much in this area here, which is very interesting. So we're going to have to watch that. We're going to have to watch and see how that develops. But definitely this channel here is looking a little bit scary. See that? Low, 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 low. Do we bounce? Maybe a little sympathy bounce. Maybe a rejection at yesterday's highs, right around this area. One of these, one of those, one of those, and then one of those. That might be what we see today. So I'm definitely going to watch out for that. Definitely do not want to be chasing upside if we start to reject this level. You guys can see this quadruple bottom. If that breaks down, that could be very, very ugly today. So to the upside, where we can look for rejections today on the Nasdaq, let's break this down a little bit closer. Let's look at where we can look for rejections today. Where can the market push back higher and then ultimately reject? I'm thinking this 14,170. Definitely. If I see us move into this 14,170, that would be a level that I think a rejection could come in. If I see us move up into this 14,230 area, that's another level I'll be watching. Previous highs, and then again up around this 14,3, 14,4. So those are the rejection levels I'll be watching. If I start to see the Nasdaq push higher and stall out at these levels, this could be fantastic entry for downside if we start to stall out. So 14,170 would be the big one. You guys can see this triple top here in the after hours. That looks nasty. So if we get this, right, if we see this today on the market and we start to chop here again, that would make me believe you would sell back off. So that's what I'm watching on the Nasdaq, 14,170 and this channel low. That's going to be massive today. Make sure you keep an eye on those levels. This is the 5-minute chart. All right, ES, exact same thing, guys. It's all the same, right? It's all the exact same. Except the ES is at a more key level than the Nasdaq, because so you can see here's the channel low. You guys can see right here, channel low, lower highs, very you could clearly see the potential for a breakdown, right? It's just clear and obvious. It's staring at you. So you have that triple bottom, channel low. If that breaks down, no good. And the reason why I say this is a very important level is because this is the exact level where the market held up back in October. You can see we are sitting right at that level. So if that does not hold, I would assume you're probably moving down to around 4,200 right here in this area, right at these previous highs. 4,200 would probably be the next level I'd watch. So just about 80 points to the downside to 4,200. So watch that today. 4,270, previous low in October where we bounced off of. We are back at that level today. If we go down to the shorter term time frames, you guys can clearly see the bottom that is trying to form here. Bottom, 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 bottom. Does it hold? It's the exact same as the Nasdaq. If we push into 43.5, right? If we push into 43.5 today, I will look for a rejection. If we push into that, and if we start to show weakness, right there, 43.5, pre-market resist or after hours resistance, pre-market resistance dropped off that level today. So if we push back into it, I'm looking for rejections. 43.5, 42.7, that's your little range today. So watch out for that. YM, exact same thing again, right? It's all the exact same thing. You got previous lows on the Dow, right here, low, low, and low, right? And then you have your channel. Here's your channel, right here. Your channel's at 33.5, 33.6, low, 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 and low. Do you hold it? That's what I'd look for today. If you push higher, look for that rejection, right? The rejection came yesterday. Again, look at this push yesterday. The rejection, same level. Rejection, same level. Rejection, same level. So if we get that again, I would look for the downside. We'll see if we bounce off this. But every single index, or if you say indice is the right way to say it, every single indice is looking the exact same. If they all drop below these channel lows today, I would assume you are going to see more downside. So that's what I'm looking at today, guys. Watching that channel low. Russell already did it, right? The Russell already did it. That's the weak one of the pair, or of the three of them, of the trio. You guys can see we already broke below that this morning. So this is sort of what you're looking for. If this is what the Nasdaq looks like intraday, I would expect more downside. You guys can see this is the exact same thing. Sergio, thanks for becoming a priority member of the chat. Appreciate you. Thanks for the support. RTY, you guys can see it already did it right here this morning. Drop flush below the previous support. Now, if you see this, that's very bearish. If you see a pop back into that, turn that into resistance, very bearish. So that's a little that's a little insight of what you don't want to see today on the Nasdaq if you don't want to see your long-term portfolios bleed out even more than they already are. So watch that. That's that channel breakdown today. That is going to be the big level to watch across the board. All right, Apple. So Apple had great earnings. Biggest revenue per quarter. What was it? They increased revenue by 11% or something. I forgot. I don't really read into the entire earnings. Good EPS beat. $200 and something billion of cash on the balance sheet, which is wild. I mean, that's just crazy. Crazy amount of cash on the balance sheet. They got overweight price target increases this morning to 210. Morgan Stanley price target to 210. Deutsche Bank price target to 210. So just a lot of positivity around the stock and the earnings. But it's just the overall market's just not letting it. The overall market's just not letting it move higher, which is understandable. We have to understand that. You can't. The worst thing you can do is try to fight against the market, guys. You don't want to fight this trend. Trend is your friend, right? So right now, trend is definitely not upside. So in the short term, of course. So short term, if you're taking short term trades, this stuff's just getting beat down. Everything that looks good is getting sold into. So Apple is getting sold into. You guys can see it right there. We pushed up into 168, rejected. Earnings was good, right? It was a $7 expected move. So you really needed to hold above 166 for calls to appreciate. So at one time, you hate that I don't verbalize the numbers. Okay. Well, then pull up the chart while I'm looking at it, and you can look at the numbers. So 166, you guys can see we got the push above 166, which is where you needed to see the expected move push higher. Very nice push above the expected move over 166, and then you start to see it hold, but then it gave it up. So now I don't believe, you're not going to see call options appreciate this morning because it did drop back below the expected move line, unfortunately. So it would have been nice if it held above that, but no longer. No longer. So we're back basically only up $2, which is, J-House, everyone should know that. Everyone should know that. If you guys are getting hit by implied volatility crush, you're just not paying attention. No one should be trading earnings on calls or puts. Absolutely not. Buying short expiration calls and puts into earnings is the quickest way to lose all your money. That's just obvious. So 166, big push higher, and you lost it. So now, where are we rejecting off of? We are rejecting right off a previous support, right? A previous support level that is pretty nasty. You guys can see right here, right? You see this push on earnings? Look at where we pushed into, 168. You can see it right here. Previous support, turned into resistance, and turned into resistance. So pretty nasty stuff. Support, resistance. It's pretty easy to see. Right there, 168. So watch that, and watch to see if we reject off that 168 again. If we do reject off that 168 again, I would say this gets pretty weak. And then of course watch this channel low at 157. If Nasdaq does drop below 157 channel low, then I would expect Apple to start to move towards that level as well, right? If you see that Nasdaq drop below this channel low, which is right around 13.9 area, 13.8, then I would watch Apple to come back to this channel low as well, 157, right? You would expect it to be here if the Nasdaq's dropping below that channel low. So watch that area on Apple. Visa and Affirm partnership. I'm not that interested in this, to be quite honest. I don't really know if this market's gonna, appreciate something like that right now. I don't really know if the market even cares. But you have Visa earnings this morning. Visa is holding this little 194 area. You guys can see support. Little 194 area here at Visa. That's a level to watch. It is holding that area, which is nice. You guys can see here on the daily. Let me get a little bit more time. So a little bit more time on Visa daily. So Visa's holding that 194. You can see this little triple bottom. Had earnings this morning, which you are getting a positive reaction off of, up to around 212. I'm not sure what the expected move was. Cuts price target at 278, so some price target cuts this morning. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned of trusting any upside here on earnings with this market right now, guys. Just don't, I wouldn't just be buying stuff out of the gate. See how this thing performs. But right now, you've had a little bit of an uptrend over the last few days. Push higher on earnings, but Visa just seems sort of stuck to me. It just seems really stuck to me. What I would watch is this previous support to turn into resistance, which it already is. 220, guys, right here. You see this 220 level? Previous lows into resistance. I wouldn't trust Visa unless I see a really strong move above 220. Because that is previous support into resistance, and it's already rejecting it this morning. Look at this. Right into it. It pushed right into that level. So that's a level that I would be careful of, 220 on Visa today. Affirm got a little push with that news, right? You got a little bit of a push with that news, but Affirm's just It's crazy to see what happened to this stock, man. It really is. I mean, look at this. This is just disgusting. Look at this move on the downside on Affirm. Crazy downside move. What's the lows? 46.50. I mean, you might as well just get down to 46.50 here. So yeah, I wouldn't expect this to do anything. You did get a little pop, but you can see that pop is you can't even recognize it on this chart. You got the pop in the after hours because of that news, but I would not expect this to go anywhere. Look at these wicks. Look at that wick. Look, the wicks to the upside, wick to the upside. Everything that gets pushed higher is getting sold into, right? Every wick, every upside move, it's just getting sold into. So I don't think that trend changes. I think this move on Affirm gets sold into again. Right here, you guys can see we got a pop off that news. We're getting sold into. This looks like a miserable area for a stock. I mean, if you guys are watching a stock and you're trying to trade it, if you start to see levels like this, you just don't even want to get involved. I mean, look at all this here. Look at all this price action that you need to break through. That just looks really gross and really choppy. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up to you guys today, let you know that was news yesterday, but I'd be very careful on those two. It looks like a lot of resistance above. All right, Facebook. So Facebook rejected 300 yesterday. I'm very interested in this 300 level because it is acting as a very key level, and I think Facebook could have more downside. I really do. You have this 289 low that I'm watching right here, 289 low. Gonna watch that level, and then you have this rejection yesterday at 300. You guys can see it right here. Right here, you can see we turned that 300 level into resistance yesterday. We tried to hold above it, right? We tried to hold above it, but ultimately rejected, made a lower high, and we are moving lower. So 300 now resistance. If we get this crack under this 289, I'll show you guys what I'm watching here. Let me get a little bit more time. So if we pull up the volume profile on this stock, there's a level that I am watching to the downside to see if it can get to. It's around this 280. So here we go. So I'm thinking that if Facebook drops below that 289, I'm thinking we come down to this 280 shelf, right around here, right around this 280, which is right in the area of these previous highs on Facebook. So if I zoom in here, if we drop below that 289 today, I think Facebook comes back down to this 280, which is the previous highs right here. So that's what I'm watching for. Does Facebook come down and retest that 280 after the 300 rejection and fill this big volume void on the volume profile? You can see almost every stock we talked about ends up filling this void in volume. So I think you probably try to come down to that 280. That's definitely a watch for me today. If that market is weak, I want to see can Facebook slip down to the 280s. That's if we break this 289 first. That's important to me. The 289 break, if that happens, I think you start to slip. So I'm going to watch that today, guys. So that's Facebook. Tesla. So Tesla is a little bit nasty, right? Let's start with this. Let's start without the volume profile. So as you guys know, earnings was the day prior, and we got some weakness on Tesla. Now, I want to show you guys the absolute most perfect entry on Tesla yesterday, which is really upsetting that I missed out on it. So as you guys know, 900 was a key level. Let me go ahead and, sorry, I keep on changing time frames. I'm trying to find the right level. Okay, here we go. This is the 4-hour time frame. And as you guys know, 900 was a very, very key level, right? You can see it right here. Very obvious, right here. 900, 900, 900, 900. We talked about that on the stream. Now, I missed this entry, and it's going to pain me for a long time. Someone in the chat took it. Gold, if you're here, Mr. TNT. Congratulations. But what you guys can see here yesterday morning, we got the drop in the morning. we pushed back into 900 and we rejected it. And that right there just was, it really does pain me because that was perfect. That was a perfect rejection of previous support at 900. That was your entry yesterday. So I'm very upset I didn't catch that one. I wasn't watching it at the time, just didn't really recognize it, and that hurts. So watching that 900 level would have been ideal. So yeah, numbers are coming out now. I'll check it in a second. I guess I'll do it now because no one's going to be focused when everything's going on in the Nasdaq. So we'll get back to Tesla in a second, guys. So you're getting a little bit of a push on the futures. What are the numbers? Let's see, we getting any numbers here? Okay, price index year over year 4.9 versus 4.8, prior 4.7. It's not that high. It's not much higher year over year. I wonder if that's why you're getting that. I wonder if that's why you're getting this move. Are you getting this move because the year over year is not? Hold on, guys. So the PC inflation number year over year was 4.9 versus 4.8. Prior year 4.7. That's interesting. So we'll see that. Let's keep an eye on month over month. Once that comes out, let me know if you guys see the month over month number. That's going to be important. Yeah, if you guys could take a second, press the like button. Got 1,000 people in here and 100 likes. Jeez, that's terrible. If you guys could help me out, press the like button. If you enjoy being here. If you don't, you don't have to. It's okay. CPI 0.5. Yeah, guys, it's going to be a crazy day out here. They're moving higher on some economic news right now. So if anyone's not aware of what's going on right now, we're waiting on inflation numbers month to month, year over year, real disposable incomes, real consumer spending, personal income, consumer spending, employee cost index. So a lot of stuff coming out here, economic calendar. So I'm just waiting to see. We got one of the data points, the year over year. I'm not seeing anything else. We've not seen anything else. So let me know if you guys see anything else. Baba? Yeah, nothing much. Tesla, yeah, I mean, everything's going to react to the news, for sure. Everything's going to react to the futures contracts. Facebook, Amazon. Everything's going to react. So, got a little CNBC update. Let's see what that has to say. Key Fed inflation gauge rises 4.9 from a year ago. Fastest gain since 1983. They're always going to throw that in there. Of course it's the fastest gain. Personal consumption expenditures price index for December likely rose 4.8 over the past 2 months and 0.5 from December. Okay, so the month over month was 0.5%. Month over month 0.5%. Year over year 4.8%. That's what we got so far. Okay, hold on. We got some people in the chat pulling up some data here. Thank you, ABCDEFG. Let's see here. So, employment cost index 1%. Estimated was 1.2. Previous was 1.3. So, that's pretty good, right? Because the cost of employment is lower. So that means okay. So you're lower there. USPC month over month 0.4, estimated 0.4. So month over month came in as expected. Year over year came in as expected. Core deflator. Personal income 0.3. So the income was a little low. Personal spending about what was expected. Real personal spending basically, so it came in down 0.1. It's all it's all basically what they're expecting, which maybe is giving you some of that, I think the biggest thing is just making sure what's expected actually happens right now. I think that's what's really driving reactions in this market. As long as things are right, what they're forecasting, it's not as harsh of a reaction. When things when we get if we ever get a reading here on one of these economic news, and economic data of something worse than expected, it's going to be a total meltdown. That's I think what's scary, because it seems like as long as it's what they expected, it seems like the market is calm. But whenever something comes out that they don't like or they weren't expecting, it's a panic. So right now, guys, I don't want to go over too much. I don't want to sit here and just watch this, but a little bit of a bounce. I don't know if you trust it just yet. We're going to have to just wait and watch the price action intraday. That's really what's important to me. All right, back to Tesla. So that entry at 900 was absolutely perfect. I wish I took that, because you could have just rode this baby lower all day long. Not a single higher high, not a single higher low, just downside after the 900 rejection. Beautiful. If we go to the daily chart, let's go to the weekly. I can't help but think that Tesla needs to come down to this previous high. I really can't help but think that might be where we're heading here. I don't see how Tesla holds up unless it's off the 200 SMA on the daily, below or above this level here, 750. So that is the level that I would be comfortable if I saw Tesla at, 750. If I pull up the daily chart and get a little bit of time, here we go. So here's the daily chart, a little bit broken down, a little bit better for you. I know this is a really ugly day. I just don't see much here to cause. I don't see much here to cause the support to come in. Maybe 800 temporarily, maybe this 800 area as psychological support, and then after that, I think it's got to be 750. You can see these previous highs right here, previous highs. I think 750, maybe 800. 800 is right around that 200 SMA. So that would be a level I'd watch today, the 200 level, the 800 level. If that breaks down, I would say you're coming down to 750 at these previous highs. So those are the two levels I'm watching on Tesla. I can't help but think that maybe there's something of sympathy here, a little bit of a spike, a little bit of an upside move on Tesla to try to catch off this 800 level. It's definitely possible. But this is a really nasty breakdown on Tesla yesterday. Key breakdown below 900 and just a perfect entry. It really upsets me thinking back at it, but I'm going to let it go. I have to let it go because that was just beautiful. Look at that. Downside, push higher, break and retest, rejection of previous support, 900, boom. And then it's dead. So very nice. Tesla, watch that 800, 200 SMA today. That's what I'd watch. $800, 200 SMA. All right, Amazon. So Amazon is in a very interesting area here. It really is. If I was to pull up volume profile on this one, I know you don't think Amazon can drop to 2,000, but everything sort of points at it. Look at this. Let me get some more time here. Here we go. Look at this. Oh, you're not even looking at my screen. This is interesting to me. I don't know. I don't see how this holds here. I'm just letting you guys know. But I also am thinking in my head, this is a little ridiculous. This is another 30% to the downside, which is, maybe it's possible. But like just looking at this here and looking at this price action here between 2,040 to 2,900, it's just concerning, right? It's concerning looking at this. Look at this void and look at this downside. This is about 28% to the downside. I mean, if I start seeing this thing slip into here, it's going to be, I mean, people are going to make billions of dollars here shorting Amazon. Yeah, it does not look good. I mean, volume's extremely light. I don't see where buyers would step in. So I am definitely keeping an eye on this one. If we see, you guys can see right now, right? Look at the rejections that are coming in here at 2900. Rejection. You see all these rejections? That is the exact level. You guys see all this? See all this rejection here? If I go back to the weekly chart, that is this level right here. Right? We are rejecting right at these previous support levels on Amazon. Support, rejection. If that rejection holds true, this is a very big void in price action to get into. So maybe you find some, support at 2,700, 2,400, and then ultimately 2,000. Yeah, Umar, he trades big, man. He bought 90 contracts of Amazon. So, I mean, yeah, I like watching him. He's a big size trader. He takes really good trades. But you guys need to be out there. You can't compare yourself to him. Have you ever traded 90 contracts at Amazon? I would be shitting myself. So yeah, 90 contracts at Amazon is terrifying. But he has the patience. He has the capital to do so. So shout out to him. He's great. I don't like seeing people compare yourself to people like that, because it gets you into a a little bit, it makes you think less of yourself. You don't want that to happen. You don't want to think less of yourself because of that, which is easy to get stuck into. Some people, it's very easy for some people to get stuck into. So you don't want that. But, he's definitely good to learn from and definitely watch. But, yeah, guys, big gap here on Amazon. Watch that gap. PayPal. Yeah, I mean, even one contract to Amazon gets my blood going a little bit. I mean, imagine having 90. So PayPal, this is another very similar level I'm watching on PayPal, guys. Almost the identical type of analysis here. You guys see this big void here in PayPal? And what I want to show you, this big void in volume here is a pretty straight up move on PayPal. You did break below key support at 170. You guys can see right here, key breakdown of 170. And what I want to show you is on the daily chart, right here. Let me zoom out. Look at this. Futures are moving higher. Okay, I'll pull it up in a second. You guys can see right here. You see this gap here on PayPal? This gap has still never filled. So this is something I am watching. You can see right here, this gap here between 138 and 130, so an $8 gap, has this big volume gap here as well. Look at this. There's absolutely nothing here at 136, 137. So I'm watching PayPal to move lower into that move. If we get a push on PayPal into this previous resistance, I want to see, can I catch this thing down to the downside? You can see it right here, right? You see this support. This is at 170. If you push back into 170, reject off that level, that would be a nice downside move. So that is something I'm watching as well. This is the volume profile. Go to studies and type in volume profile, and that's it. So the Nasdaq's moving higher off news, economic news, guys. That's why you're seeing a push. It's nothing that makes me excited just yet. I mean, you're barely above yesterday's lows, so just be aware of that. Don't get trapped into this. I don't want to see anyone get trapped. You guys can see right here. I don't want to see anyone get trapped here. So what I would still watch for is this same level. You guys can see right here. Same exact level on Nasdaq. Right into 14,170, right? Rejection. If the Nasdaq pushes here this morning, guys, do not buy calls as you push into this level. If you are chasing call options as you push into this level, maybe it works out for you, but that is a very bad practice to have. You should not be buying calls as you push into rejection points. That you need to be aware of. Make sure you know where this level is. If you're zoned in on your screen to Apple, right, and Apple's moving higher, and you're not focusing on what this Nasdaq is doing, and you're just focused, you're tunnel visioned on Apple, you buy calls, and then you maybe look over to the side and see your futures chart, and it says, and futures are sitting right at resistance. That's just not a good place to be entering. So make sure you are aware of what the futures are doing today. All right. Qualcomm. This chart looks very interesting to me. I really like this chart, and I wish it could just work out, but it's just not. But I still am going to show you guys because I like this chart a lot. So here is Qualcomm. As you guys know, Qualcomm has held up at this key level up here around 175, right? 175, we have continued to hold this area on Qualcomm. Now, what has it officially done? What has Qualcomm officially done yesterday? Over the last 2 days, actually. What did we do? We broke down, we pushed higher, and we rejected. That is exactly what I look for on this market, and I have to make sure I am aware of this chart because this could be a fantastic play. It finally did what I wanted it to do. It finally did the break, the retest, and the rejection. Now, I just need to see it maybe drop below these lows, and I am in for this potential downside right here to that gap fill, right? That is what I'm looking for right here on Qualcomm. This could be a fantastic play. If I go to the daily chart, you guys can see very big gap fill right here. Big gap right here. If you start to break down that, I would love to catch this move, man. I would love to catch this move right here to 140. That would be very, very nice. So it's setting up. The setup is there. The rejection at previous support is there. Everything's lining up that I like to see. So I'm going to have to take a shot on this at some point, even if I do lose on it. Because, I mean, this right here, this is the definition of weakness, right? This is the definition of weakness. Support, breakdown, resistance, move lower. If we crack this low, I am going to want to try to enter this move. So, big watch. It still hasn't worked out. I've tried to take it a few times. Took it once, lost like $60, and just going to continue to watch this thing. Let's see if it can break down finally. All right, last for me is AMD, and then we're going to get into a few of the members charts that they want to look at. So here's AMD. You guys can see. I just want to point out this $100 level. Let's see today if it tries to hold the 100. That's a big level on AMD. Big drop yesterday, $100 level. Let's see if we can hold this level today. If you drop below that level, I would expect a move down to 95. So let's watch the 100 today. I'd probably get a month out. Maybe it would be sort of I would want it to happen fast. The move, Daniel. But let's see AMD 100. Watch out for just the previous rejections, right? Here's a rejection point. Here's a rejection point. Here's a rejection point. So just watch out for those rejection points. But let's see what it does off 100 today. All right, let me pull up the members. Google Docs. If you guys could take just 1 second, press that like button if you are enjoying the live stream. That would be very much appreciated. I'm going to pull up the Google Docs. And also, to any of the members that are out there, I just wanted to make sure you knew. When you guys sign up for members, you get 10% off any merchandise. That was something that was one of your benefits. So there's a thing to check out there in the members live stream or in the members channel if you want to check it out. So let's go and pull up the Google Docs. Here we go. So today we got Visa, we did it. All right, let's go. We went over Apple. All right, let's go ahead and start this up. So we got TXT as number one. What's TXT? Textron. Let's look at this weekly chart. So weekly chart broke trend. Don't really like that. That would be a sign of more downside to me. I would look for a support bounce, maybe off this 64. If you drop below that 64, I think you're coming down to 55. And why do I say that? I could already tell you that's what the volume profile is showing. Just because you can see the big gaps in volume, right? Or the big gaps in price action, right? Look at this. So if I zoom in here, you guys can see, right? You broke the uptrend. That's nasty. If you drop below this shelf at 64, and there's no volume here until 55, right? Look at this. See that? So you got 64 to 55. Watch this big void. If you get below 64, I think you're coming down pretty quickly here. There's no reason for this to hold up. It's held up on hopes and dreams right here. So watch below 64. It has to hold that. TSM, yeah, stock that I've been interested in, but never really worked out for me. You know, I tried to see if I could play that upside, but that lost. I would just look for maybe for TSM back to 98s. You know, if the market continues to do what it's doing, I would expect these stocks to move lower. So watch TSM to the 98 100 level. You really need to hold that. I'm sorry, 110. What am I saying? 108 100 or 108 110 level. That's what I'm talking about. All right, this guy's got to go. Sorry, God and devil. So 108, 110 area on TSM, that is a must hold there. You guys see that right there? I would expect us to probably slip to that level. So watch that. Make sure you watch. This is just a falling knife right now. I'd be careful. CSCO. Cisco. So what's Cisco up to? Yeah, tough. You got the breakover highs on, or not on earnings, pre-earnings. Got the or over earnings. Got the breakover. Did not hold as support. So this is just a stock that I wouldn't touch. There's just nothing really here. I mean, maybe 50 SMA hold at 54, right? But this is a really choppy chart right here. Maybe these lows at 53.30, you know, right in this area. You can see the lows of these previous pivots, right? Pivot low. Maybe you watch that right in this 53.54. If you break below that, then I think you're probably moving to these previous highs here. You can see this whole area here, right in this zone, to 48s, previous highs. So if you drop below this little support zone, I would expect the move down to 48. So you definitely want to hold that 53.54 level on CSCO. Groupon. This is just the definition of a bad stock. Groupon. I mean, is Groupon really changing lives out here? I see the momentum. I see the volume. You know, if you want to catch on to that, if you want to just, you know, sort of ride the momentum, sure. Maybe you can catch a little breakout here. But you are getting stuck below 27.80, right? You're getting stuck below 27.80 right here. Previous highs, look at the rejection that's coming in. See that rejection? Why is that rejecting there? It's not rocket science, right? It's just this previous high, right? Right there and right there. Daily chart, it's just getting stuck at that 27.80. You gotta watch out for that. Watch out for that level. So watch that 27.80 on Groupon. CRM. So, yeah, I mean, look at this. Support. That is a monster hold. That is a must hold. Must hold on CRM here. If I can get my Thinkorswim always does this, man. It always loses the ability to zoom in with the yoga. It's just not big enough to be on this. Some stocks should not be on the stock market, honestly. Some stocks just should not be on the stock market. So nice hold here at CRM. I'm not saying they're bad. Like, Groupon's a great company, but it should be just a private company. I understand why they go public, because they get a huge check, and they can make a lot of money if their stock goes up. But some companies like that, I just think they should be private companies. Like, just stay private. Don't deal with all the BS you have to deal with. So CRM, nice little flag breakout, right? Pushed higher, nice push. I remember this push, pulled all the way back. You need to hold this 220, 210 area. This is a monster hold here. You want to see this hold. But can you buy it to the upside yet? No, you can't because it's not showing you anything. You need to wait for something to show you support, right? You need to wait for a trend change. So right now it's just that waiting game. A lot of these stocks are just at waiting points. They're like, they're back at support, but we just don't quite know if they're going to hold yet. It's like almost every stock is doing that. It's pulled back, it's sitting, it's waiting, but you can't buy it yet because you could buy it now and you could get lucky and catch the bottom, or, you can get burned. But for me, I'd rather wait it out and see these stocks start to actually rebound. Then I'll take action. But right now, it just seems like it's a little bit of a gamble to take action on a lot of these moves. This is at a support level, but do you buy it yet? I don't see anything here to make me want to buy it, right? There's no higher highs. There's no higher lows. There's no multiple green candles. There's just nothing quite there yet. So I need to wait. All right, guys. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. Today is Friday, thank God. Oh, I just want to wake up and not, I want to wake up. I don't want to wake up to these lights in my eyes. I got bright-ass light here, bright-ass light right here. I just want to wake up with no lights and get some rest. So let's see what today does. I would watch those intraday rejections today. I would not expect much to change. Watch for, lower highs. Watch for dead cat bounces. Watch for previous rejection points on the futures and see if you can play off those. That's what I'm going to be doing. Yeah, I checked futures if you want to watch in the beginning of the channel, beginning of the live stream. All right, guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic weekend. Hopefully a good weekend for football. Should be some exciting stuff. And I will talk to you guys on Monday. Press the like button, subscribe. Thank you, guys. Peace out.